Marlow just responded.
Hey everyone.
So has Dr. Donut and many other top figures.
And apparently, this is Marlow.
This situation just got 1,000 times more complicated. Marlow just dropped a 3-hour response, and we're gonna cover absolutely everything. So for those who don't know, Marlow was the #1 ranked Minecraft PvPer for years. Got exposed for cheating and being an infamous hacker banned from the community, then just went radio silent for 3 weeks. So the first interesting thing to note about this is Marlow actually just admits to one of the biggest things about this whole situation, which is the fact that people realized Marlow was using an AI voice, completely fabricating their identity, but this was Marlow's reasoning for it.
So first of all, following the whole controversy regarding me being a man, I was actually planning on admitting to using an AI voice prior to posting this video. For those of you who don't know, ever since later on into the cheating allegations, I've been under investigation from the administrators regarding all the videos being made against me. After Ximity's video, this amped up even further since the allegations had become severe enough to where I was becoming too much of a risk to everyone else. The other admins and I had been talking about meeting up in order to debunk the allegations, so we had a discussion about it in our groups. The problem is that within these discussions, the other staff members started to backtrack on the idea of meeting up in person, and they insisted on a video call. Essentially, it felt like I was being treated as someone who was guilty, no matter what. But the problem is that I wasn't really given a full chance to explain my side of all of the evidence. From my perspective, I wasn't able to do much to defend myself until either releasing this video or meeting up with them and explaining everything in person. Unfortunately, all of this led to a rift in our relationship, and so I'd like to apologize for the fact that I couldn't be upfront about my usage of an AI voice in those moments. At some point within our discussions, I finally managed to make arrangements with one of the staff members who was willing to meet with me in person, which I'm grateful for since it helps a lot for verifying that I'm not AI, unless I am secretly a robot. I'm actually out of state recording this video from my hotel room since there's not much else for me to do right now. With all that being said though, I want to explain why exactly I use an AI voice and why I wasn't ever upfront about it. For some background, my family, especially my mom, was always extremely overprotective of me, to the point where I wasn't really supposed to be using social media. For this reason, from a young age, I generally would try to alter the way I spoke online in the instance that my voice was recorded, especially if I became bigger on social media later on. The issue with doing this was that my way of speaking wasn't suitable for full-length videos, and as I got older, I also just generally had more trouble doing it. For this reason, I eventually decided how to learn how to train AI voice models, so I trained one off of a dataset of my already altered way of speaking.
So Marlow used an AI voice trained on her own altered voice? Hold on, what?
I know this confused people since a lot of community members and YouTubers vouched that they had done calls with me before realistic AI voice changers were a thing, so now you finally know the answer to that mystery. The reason I've denied using an AI voice for so long is because since the AI voice is based on an actual dataset of my own altered way of speaking in the past, I felt like it was acceptable to lie about since it wasn't someone else's voice. I also felt like admitting to using an AI voice would cause people to doubt that I'm an actual person and believe some of the crazy rumors people spread about me. In retrospect, my decision to lie about this wasn't a good idea since it's actually provided people with a logical reasoning to believe all of the rumors being spread about me. I'm genuinely sorry for all of this, but I just happen to be someone that prefers to keep themselves more private, and so a lot of my behavior comes from that. I really do hate the fact that I'm having to face reveal for this video, but ultimately to a degree, it's actions like these that have led me here in the first place. So with that being explained, there's another thing I definitely need to talk about. I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be upset about this, and in saying it, I have a feeling that I'll probably be cancelled pretty badly since it pretty much affects my entire channel.
Now here's where things get even more interesting, because there was controversy over Marlow's montages and some parts just not looking possible, and this would be Marlow's response to this.
I'm sure a lot of you have seen the clips of me hitting while looking in completely different directions and stuff like that. And those things all get explained very well later on in the video, but there are stronger pieces of evidence in the form of consistent tick timings and really smooth aim from my mace montage. A lot of people use this as evidence that I use macros and aim assist. The truth is, almost every montage on my channel is heavily staged, and by that I mean the majority of clips are scenarios that I replay a few times to create more variety in the montage. In two of my vanilla montages, I play a lot of the scenarios in a lower tick speed, which contributes to why my aim tracking looks so surreal and why my timings are so consistent. The only montage on my channel that isn't heavily staged is a sword montage, since there isn't much variety within the game mode anyways. Even in that montage though, I know I staged at least a few clips. The reason that almost no one realized that I was doing this was because I actually do substantially beat the players you see in my montages, but just not necessarily in the exact manner you see in the clip. I try to be very intentional about the clips I include in my montages so that I can pace them with the music and include enough variety to give them replay value. I think if I had been honest about this from the beginning, that it wouldn't have been too big of a deal. But at this point, it's been something I've kept secret for years, and even after the cheating investigations on me.
Dude, this just makes no sense.
In my 2-year vanilla PvP montage, I used a custom mod to play in a lower tick rate, since at the time, Minecraft didn't have a command for it. This is actually the reason for how I came up with the idea for a mod to reduce input latency, since I had recognized how slow inputs are registered on low TPS. Within that mod, I used to create that montage. The idea was used to make my inputs register instantly instead of per tick, which made playing low TPS feel much more responsive. A lot of people have pointed out that the hotbar skips in that montage, and knowing what I do now, I'm quite sure that it's due to the fact that I was not only using the low TPS mod for most of it, but also the feature within that mod to make my inputs register instantly.
So let me get this right. We're supposed to believe that Marlow is using mods only to recreate the videos on a lower tick speed, but isn't using any of these mods during actual gameplay testing. And by the way, these mods weren't allowed to be used at all. But here's where things actually start to get interesting, because Marlow actually now has some pretty good points to go over, especially regarding the ownership transfer of the tier lists.
I mean, I haven't seen proof of this, but I've heard that the only reason Marlow even had access to the vanilla tier list Discord in the first place was because she nuked the old one and was just quick to make the new one, and everyone just followed her. But yeah, she hijacked the whole PvP community off of she took it from trustworthy people who didn't have some overarching plan to do anything crazy, and just took full control of everything herself.
So just to clarify here, I'm addressing whoever is watching this now rather than Dr. Donut personally, but what you have heard here is a very large misunderstanding of what actually happened and where the remade vanilla tier list came from. If you watched my experience video, I talk about a group called WAC that used to go around doxing and threatening people. They took down my Wi-Fi while threatening me in a call before, and threatened me with other things like rape and swatting. I will play an extremely small amount of this call.
Speak when spoken to, you fucking whore. Or you want something bad to happen? Speak when spoken to. Say some fucking dumb shit and see what fucking happens.
So essentially what happened is that the people a part of this group nuked the tier list once in the middle of 2021, which was really bothersome for me because at the time, I was the only owner properly managing the list. I was doing almost all of the tier tests myself and adding all of the names to the spreadsheet myself, since at the time the website didn't exist yet. Essentially, WAC used to be on the ownership team of the vanilla tier list, but I was also on the owner team, as well as pretty much the only person doing anything. During this time frame, I had to put up with random nukes, them randomly giving out high tiers to their friends, corrupt owners demoting people they didn't like, and them giving out staff roles and tiers to their friends' alt accounts. A lot of people criticize the way the tier list is run today, but the main difference is that back then it was actually corrupt from the inside, and today it's just mismanaged because the staff can't keep up with the overload of manual labor, since the tier list doesn't have enough automation to sustain it. Anyways, later in 2021, the tier list got nuked again, except this time it was a fully successful nuke with nobody except the owner team and a few of the higher staff members remaining. After the nuke, I started getting DMs from WAC members taunting me about it, and so after everything, to sort everything out for a while, a new Discord was made and the WAC players were demoted from staff. What people seem to be saying is that I was the one who made the new Discord immediately after the nuke as a means to get ownership, but that's actually the complete opposite of what actually happened. I was actually the last choice to be owner, even despite the effort I had been putting in. The person who created the new vanilla tier list Discord was conned, and the only people who remained as owner after the nuke were me, Conned, and UCC Dog.
So this seemingly adds a lot of nuance and context to the situation, and maybe Marlow actually wasn't trying to make a power grab at all. And this is what Dr. Donut would respond back with.
I don't know if we're ever gonna know. No, we do know. It's all true. There's 100% proven proof through the Discord messages. It's not that we're never gonna know. I take that back. I think we know now.
It's just crazy
that Marlow doesn't exist.
But now here's where things get really interesting, because obviously a big part of this controversy was the player eximity bringing a lot of this to light. especially the Danger Mario connection. But this is what Marlow had to say about this.
I want to talk about Ximity. So the first thing I should tell you all is that I've been seeking legal advice on all of this, and the fact of the matter is that there are so many verifiably false claims that he's made against me that it constitutes extreme damages to both my reputation and livelihood. It's also worth noting that not only has he harmed me, but he's also harmed the reputation of other people like Jai Guy, who, if you don't know, is the owner of PvP Club, in the process. There's a lot of proof of malicious intent from him, as well as examples of him weaponizing his audience in order to cause further reputational damage to people he doesn't like. I'm going to have a clip come up on screen to demonstrate.
Bye, Danger. Like, what's up, Danger? Are we serious? Are we serious? Nah, everyone join the server. I'm not even kidding. Raid discord.mcpvp.club. I'm so serious, bro. This ain't even funny. Nuh-uh. Nah, bro. Nah, this is not cool, bro. Hold on. Let me hide my screen. I'm getting on a new one now.
You don't want to do
We're getting on a new one. We're getting on a new one.
The clip you just saw is from a ban evasion live stream on PvP Club. When he ended up getting banned, he mobilized his audience to raid the Discord, which led to people like Jai Guy and his staff members getting tons of unjustified harassment. People were under the impression that Ximity was being banned for his recent videos against me as some kind of attempt to silence him, but the reality is that Ximity's punishment results from criminal offenses that he committed. I'm going to have the person who handled his blacklist come on and explain to you all why exactly he was initially banned, so that it's made clear that it was not at all related to his allegations against me.
My name is Spooked, and I was the staff member responsible for handling Ximity's blacklist case back when it occurred in July of 2024. Ximity was blacklisted on the grounds of sexual misconduct, SWAT requests, doxing, and requesting illicit sexual material.
So Marlow presents a lot more information with what Ximity has posted and done to try to fan the flames of this situation, which definitely does not look good in Ximity's favor here.
And having high tier 1 for over a year straight until I ended up getting banned, which is the only reason I lost it.
In the statements you just heard, Ximity seems to suggest that there's no point in having a ranking system if the best players can't compete. Yet he doesn't seem to realize that it's actually standard procedure in most competitive gaming communities to ban players for criminal offenses. He made a TikTok account that claimed to be me, then made an admission to cheating video that garnered tons of views and led people across social media genuinely believing that I had admitted to hacking. For the impersonation TikTok account, he didn't admit that it was him until way later after hundreds of thousands of people had already seen it. I believe that Ximity has been doing all of these things to efficiently erode my reputation in virtually every capacity, whether that be cheating, being someone else's account, and even stuff like theft as well.
And I am going to agree with this point that their history is very long and complicated and intense, and Ximity has definitely done a ton of stuff in the past to warrant being banned. And actually, I'm going to agree with the main point here. It does seem like Ximity is he's biased in this situation. It's pretty obvious. But obviously, just because Ximity is biased, it doesn't negate all of the information and evidence that has come out from everyone else. We're about to dive into even more mind-blowing information and some stuff that literally makes me question this entire scandal despite everything I know, or at least thought I knew about this situation. Marlow then brings on a person named Eddie to prove that Marlow is a real human and female and not this Danger Mario character.
To show proof that I'm not an AI. So I'm here right now with Eddie and a call, and we have a few things in place for me to prove that I'm actually not a robot.
Howdy.
Okay. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this broom and move it around in front of my face, and we'll hope I don't glitch out and just like transform into the background.
That's AI, bruh. That's AI.
Oh no.
I knew it. I knew it.
I think we really need to take a step back at this situation and just question what is going on. Is this actually Marlow? Is this actually happening? What is this? Because this person is supposedly supposed to be verifying that this is Marlow. How could Danger Mario possibly pull all of this off? What is actually going on? Of course, if you look at Dr. Donut's response, he immediately does not believe that this person is Marlow.
What? That doesn't even make sense. This is not Marlow. Why all of a sudden do you have a new voice? Yo, alright, I'm gonna call Marlow, but she's just not gonna answer, bro. I'm gonna DM and say, do you want to call? Do you want to call? He's not gonna answer, bro. Because she has to schedule the call with an actor. The actor has to hop on Discord. The actor has to get a second call on his headphones to get coached during the call. Why is she in a trailer now? Oh my god. Wait, why is she in a trailer now? Also, Eddie, bro, you're getting manipulated, bro. You're getting manipulated, bro. I know you're not really that much in the PvP comm anymore, but come on, bro. You can't be falling for this. I feel bad.
And if you think the rest of this response doesn't get crazier, you would be completely wrong. Now, this is the part where I'm definitely gonna defend Marlow a bit.
Before I proceed, I'd like to start off with a quote from a video I made in 2024. This video, titled My Experience with the Minecraft PvP Community, was released in order to demonstrate the numerous ways in which I was being targeted in terms of both reputation and real-life safety.
I think it's safe to say there's definitely a lot of sexism and other variables at play here that are bringing a lot of attention and maybe bandwagoning against Marlow. However, this is when Marlow says this.
In recent times, this is amped up to a degree so severe that every day there are multiple videos being made attempting to cancel me. What you'll soon find out is that nearly every claim being made about me is verifiably false, and serves as yet another example of the destruction that can be caused when people take information at face value.
Marlow just stated that nearly all of the evidence in these videos are verifiably false. You've literally had to backtrack on so many things. Like the way that your montages made literally no sense, they weren't physically possible, and then after the fact, years later, you now say that they're played on a low tick rate and using mods that weren't allowed, etc, etc. So all these claims are true. But I think to me what's happening is Marlow is bringing a lot of good examples and framing it in a way, and now is trying to use some of those examples that are being debunked and now cascading it to the entire evidence board, even though there's so much evidence that isn't disproven. But something unexpected happens here. Marlow actually gets a player called Learn to hop on the mic and discuss the split of PvP tiers and MC tiers, which is interesting because Marlow and Learn actually have a history of beef.
Hello everyone, my name is Learn. Most of you will know me as a network owner in the PvP tiers network and formerly the MC tiers network alongside Marlow and Engs. Today I will be discussing the events leading up to and surrounding the tier list split that took place on January 27th of last year. The two tier lists that now exist post-split are mctiers.com, most well known for being operated by Marlow and Associates, and pvptiers.com, most well known for being operated by Learn and Rico and Associates. Each of these lists are commonly referred to as Marlow's list or Learn's list. So for clarity and to ensure a good understanding throughout the video, Engs and Learn operate the PvP tiers tier list, and Marlow operates the MC tiers tier list. A current rumor and belief that is spreading throughout both communities is that the migration was performed in order for Marlow to dictate in the form of gaining the uninterrupted ability to engage in corruptive behavior, such as hacking and boosting. On top of this, it is also claimed that the act of migrating in the first place was the result of Marlow committing theft. Neither of these allegations are true, and you'll start to realize just how untrue they actually are as we continue to cover this topic. To understand the material that I will be covering in this segment of the video to its fullest extent, you may wish to watch Marlow's video, My Experience with the Minecraft PvP Community. 2023, Marlow expresses issues with my leadership and my relationship with her to Enrico, in the hope that Enrico would take formal action towards me. In response, Enrico gives assurances that I should and will be demoted, even giving a time frame that once Marlow meets a requirement in website development, that I will be removed. Over a year passes, and more issues between myself and Marlow occur during this time. However, Enrico has still not taken any action on the assurances that he made previously. In July 2024, Marlow uploads her video, My Experience with the Minecraft PvP Community. This strikes community-wide outrage towards Learn and Rico.
Okay, I'm gonna have to pause this here for a second. Why does he keep referring to himself in the third person? Like, this literally reads like someone else wrote this script for him. And he's not even like changing his name. He should be like replacing it and saying I or me. He's literally just saying his name as if he isn't that person. What is happening? I also have some more things to say on this, but I'll let it continue.
And the current leadership structure at MC Tiers. July 2024 to January 2025. 5-month stretch where several discussions, debates, and decisions would take place about the future of MC tiers. At the end of the year in 2024, Marlow officializes that she will migrate from the tier list, and we begin to discuss terms, within which we argue for hours about the rights to the names, website, data, Discord servers, and more. Debunking why Marlow splitting from the tier list was not for self-serving purposes. Firstly, I will recommend that you read a document Marlow released last year when the split first occurred. I believe we are witnessing the results of not many people having read this thoroughly to understand why the split occurred in the first place and how it was necessary for the future growth of the Minecraft competitive community. This is evident by the statistics that the MC Tiers network has. Whilst under Marlow's leadership, across MC Tiers' 8 primary game mode discords, they boast an impressive user count of over 860,000. In comparison to PvP Tiers, which has existed much longer, it only sits at 234,000 members. For the people that have already viewed Marlow's last video and still believe that the split was for self-serving purposes, I find it incredibly insensitive and ridiculous, considering they would have seen the deliberations and attempts to rectify many of the issues that Marlow had with the original MC Tiers leadership, including with me. It is true at several different points I blatantly lied toward Marlow, insulted her awfully despite knowing her to be a genuine kind person, and that I remained relentlessly angry towards her for her actions. It was beyond shallow of me at the time to not see how necessary it was for Marlow's mental health and future progress, not only for Marlow on a personal level, but for the overall community to succeed. Under Marlow's leadership, both the original MC Tiers project and the post-split MC Tiers have truly flourished. Her creative pursuits, actually going out of the way to think about how to enhance and automate testing, commissioning and commitment to graphics, expansion, server collaborations, even implementing the blacklist system that went a long way to protect our community.
Okay, let's pause again. There's some things to unravel here. First of all, props to Learn for owning up to his past behavior and taking accountability for that. He's stating that Marlow could not have done this for a power grab. Literally, it's not possible. But then the examples and reasoning why is just that MC Tiers is doing really well. That doesn't address the reasoning literally at all. You can go watch the rest of this section on Marlow's response. He goes into more detail about his mindset and exactly what happened. But again, literally none of this disproves Marlow's actual intent. And honestly, this doesn't even read like he wrote most of this script. I'm almost certain Marlow had a major role in writing this script. That's just a guess, but it's just a game theory, okay? Now, another massive point of contention with this whole scandal was the fact that MC Tiers didn't have a good elo system. And well, the ratings would basically go off of a vote, off what the people on the top thought you deserved. But Marlow brings up a very interesting point that I don't actually think works in Marlow's favor.
It seems as though a lot of people are under the impression that I'm solely responsible for the community not generally operating under an elo system. What you need to understand though is that the tier list concept was not founded by me, and the person who did found it had very limited resources at the time. Within the PvP community, I've actually been one of the biggest advocates for a rating system. Not only because of its improved accuracy, but also because its magnitude is more accessible to the average player. This is why I made contact with the PvP Ranked project and have been assisting to improve its quality for over a year now. For those of you who don't know, PvP Ranked is a client mod and can be thought of as a similar project to Minecraft Speedrunning Ranked. It has match queuing, a clean interface, a full-fledged replay system, and even custom netcode to finally make cross-regional gameplay viable. Something worth knowing is that the PvP Ranked project doesn't actually plan on operating under an elo system. As of now, the project has decided on using OpenSkill, which is an open-sourced alternative to Microsoft's TrueSkill. I personally believe that PvP Ranked has the potential to revolutionize how Minecraft is played competitively, and I find it upsetting how people have spread rumors that overshadow this. It seems like people are under the impression that all of the ranks I've earned are specifically enabled by the current testing system, and that I wouldn't otherwise have a chance. So for all of those people, I have something that I want to show you. What you're seeing on screen right now is a rough distribution of top-ranked players in SMP according to ELO. In the entire lifespan of SMP being added to the tier list in January of 2023, no one has ever come close to passing my rating. The second highest ranked player of all time is approximately 200 ELO below me. In other words, the current lead I have over the second ranked player's peak is the same as the lead the second ranked player has over the 25th ranked player.
Marlow is 200 elo ahead of second place and everyone else? Like, listen, I get that Marlow's been the quote-unquote GOAT, but is Marlow seriously Magnus Carlsen here? We're talking about a person who came into the community extremely late. They weren't some prodigy from the beginning age of 4, but somehow they've managed to get this insane separation from the rest of the competition. Now, going by Occam's razor and everything that we've seen from the evidence, I think this probably points more towards the fact that they're cheating and not towards the fact that they're legit. Even though Marlow is using this as evidence that if they went by ELO, Marlow would still be ahead of everyone. But I think that contrast is even more interesting to look at. And this next part also doesn't make sense, because Marlow then next addresses the screen sharing aspect, how they've been screen shared 10 times. This is what they said.
One of the most egregious examples of this is the fact that the public consensus regarding me being investigated as a top player is that I never have been at all, when in reality I'm probably the most investigated player in tier list history. I've had my computer searched 10 different times through screen shares, including during tournaments and competitive matches. I've even had to play out full competitive matches during the process of some of these screen shares. It's worth noting that nearly all of these screen shares were conducted unexpectedly, and many were conducted by highly knowledgeable experts in digital forensics. All of this can be confirmed by people who were in administration positions at the time.
Hey guys, I'm It's Real Me. I've been in the community since 2020 and started playing slightly before Marlow. Since we both started out in the vanilla community, I've been around for essentially every situation involving her. I have heard all the accusations thrown at her throughout the past 5 years, and I've seen all the facts firsthand. Marlow started being accused of hacking back in 2020 due to her quick mastery of respawn anchors, which, back then, were only used by a few players. In 2021, these allegations increased after another player attempted to frame her with a spoofing exploit that was present within the popular client known as Meteor. This spoofing exploit was used in order to get multiple players, including Marlow, falsely banned on a vanilla survival server. She has been constantly accused ever since then, and now these accusations have come back again at full force. People claim that she has never been properly investigated since she runs the tier list, and this could not be farther from the truth. She has been screen shared a total of 10 times throughout the past 5 years, including from times before and during when she was a tier list staff member. Nearly all of these screen shares were conducted with her having no prior knowledge of them. Many of them also happened after winning tournaments. Most notably, however, some of these sudden investigations required Marlow to stream her full competitive tier tests, which, in every single instance of doing so, she won with a flawless score. The relentless disbelief in Marlow's skill level has, unfortunately, been detrimental in some cases. While she was a network owner alongside Anx and Learn, the other 2 tier list owners arranged for her to be screen shared during a UHC test by a screen sharer named 9250. 9250 asked her to send her AnyDesk code in a group chat which had him, Marlow, and other UHC tier list staff. Unbeknownst to anyone, one of the UHC staff members' Discord accounts was compromised at the time and was used to see Marlow's AnyDesk code. The person who stole the AnyDesk code impersonated the screen sharer and requested to connect to her computer. Marlow, who thought that 9250 was sending the connection request, accepted. Then the impersonator ran malware on her computer, which resulted in her computer blue screening. I remember that day very clearly. I was on the bus coming home from school when I heard that Marlow got ratted. We were really worried and we had no idea what happened. She changed all her account passwords from her phone and she had to disconnect her PC from her Wi-Fi and later fully reset it. Once I got home from the bus, we first questioned 9250 because we thought that he was involved, but he was just as clueless as the rest of us. Many of these people dislike her and have acted maliciously to her, and they would have no reason to lie if they had found any cheats. Yet, no such person has come forward because the truth is simple. She does not hack.
Okay, so obviously It's Real Me is a very respected player in the community, but it's unquestionable that he has a severe bias in this situation. Being really good friends with Marlow, he just seems like a really wholesome guy, and I know he doesn't want to see his friend in this light, but this statement right here, Marlow does not hack. Marlow was literally using mods that weren't allowed. Full stop.
There's never been another person in the community who has been accused or investigated as much as she has. I have only been screen shared twice, and Swite has been screen shared less times than her, despite being previously caught in screen share with a ghost client. Out of every player, she has done the most to prove she's legit. Yet, despite this, people have repeatedly misinformed others by saying that she has never been investigated at all. Many clips going around that accuse her of cheating include clips of her hitting her opponents while not looking at them. Every single one of these clips can be explained by Minecraft's inbuilt interpolation delay, where on her screen, her opponent is on one side, but on her opponent's screen, they are on the other. All in all, Marlow has been accused more than anyone else, has been investigated more than anyone else, and yet it seems like people are just simply not aware of these facts. Every clip accusing her of cheating is unconvincing and fails to prove any sort of hacks.
I mean, the problem here is she was caught with hacks. Marlow just retroactively uploaded it to the community, pretended that they were gonna do this anyway, despite that they were using it for months and no one knew. What do you call that?
People have seemingly embraced the mindset of guilty until proven innocent and layered countless untrue and unsubstantiated claims on top of it all, leaving hardly even a semblance of truth left in the end.
Marlow's next point is that many people are just jumping on the bandwagon and leveraging this turmoil to benefit themselves.
What all of this tells you is that there is a massive chasm between what drama YouTubers want you to believe about what happened versus what actually did happen. Not only are they able to personally benefit by leveraging someone else's reputation, but they are also able to endlessly repeat this process by feeding into it with their own narratives. To show you an example of this, on January 11th, someone named Hatflaw would upload a video titled "Retired Minecraft Veteran Reacts to the Marlow Allegations." This video would unexpectedly gain traction, which would lead to the same person creating several more posts as well as live streams about me spanning across hours.
This is completely true. Everyone does do this. However, it's important not to just blend them together because there's a reason why people like me and many others are covering the situation. And it's because the evidence is clearly pointing in a direction. And it's not simply just, oh, look, there's clout to be gained, let's talk about the subject. There is a mountain of evidence. And there's plenty of people in the community just like me who don't want to be wrong about information like this. And so while this point is completely correct, there are people who are being disingenuous with this, and maybe that also influenced the bias and framing of a lot of instances. The fact of the matter is there are so many points of things not adding up. And that is the point we're discussing here. No matter how many times, no matter how many people Marlow gets, like It's Real Me, to just say that Marlow is just being unfairly targeted, there is an element of that. But there's obviously a clear reason as to why they're also being targeted that has to do with the actual evidence. You can't just look at the disingenuous people and then paint everyone covering the topic as those people. That's not how it works. Marlow would also address the PvP club boycotting situation.
They've also been led to believe that the largest Minecraft duel server, PvP Club, is owned by me. This completely false claim has been used in order to defraud me by suggesting that I bypass the anti-cheat and give myself items in order to perform better. People lying about this has negatively impacted the reputation of the server, and has led to campaigns attempting to boycott it and take away its player base. All of this happens at the expense of the actual server owner, who is an international student that programs and maintains the entire server all by himself.
Okay, well, the interesting thing to note here that I guess Marlow doesn't really talk about is that Jagai and Marlow are just hand in hand. They are completely friends. And if you watched my video exposing much of the situation, when Jagai did a live stream going over the entire situation, the entire community was on him and his responses were not adequate at all. Yeah, there's clearly a connection there, so this doesn't really prove anything. Again, Jagai owns PvP Club, which we already knew, and they have a clear and business arrangement going on, it seems. So yeah, this doesn't disprove anything. Another interesting point of this scandal is a mod client was actually offering to pay Marlow to admit that she used their client to cheat.
The next one I'll be going over is the claim that I've been confirmed to be using a hack client known as Prestige. Prestige is a Minecraft ghost client intended to evade anti-cheats and appear legitimately in the eyes of other players. What makes the claim that I've been using this client appear credible is the fact that the claim is actually being made by the company itself. What people fail to realize, however, is that this is actually a marketing scheme. By publicly outing me for using their hack client, they can leverage the newfound publicity to suggest that anyone who purchases the client would be capable of performing at my skill level. A lot of people in my situation here would be screwed, but I fortunately happen to have evidence to support my case. Last year, I had been put in contact with the owner of Prestige in order to investigate a top player that had been cheating. During some of our conversations, he offered to pay me to publicly admit that I had been using Prestige client. He asked me this twice, and both times I had rejected him. This offer alone should show you that clients like these are completely willing to pounce on the opportunity to cancel top players if it benefits their company.
Maybe this could work in Marlow's favor, but again, in Marlow's position, do you really want to promote these hacks? It just doesn't make much sense. That would be an extremely short-sighted move. Marlow is clearly a long-term thinker and strategizer. That is one thing I am absolutely certain during this whole investigation. This Marlow person is wicked smart. But this is when Marlow would go through Critically's video point by point. One of the main persons starting this whole situation. I covered his video as well pretty in depth, and now it's Marlow's turn. Marlow pretty much went over every single point.
Currently, there are 3 main videos being used as evidence against me. It just so happens to be, however, that all 3 of these people are currently banned from MC tiers. I'll be explaining why exactly this matters later on, but for now I want to cover the main video that kickstarted this situation's popularity. This video by Critical1Y, titled The Art of Deception, Marlow, depicts my Minecraft skin as an evil overlord puppeteering the competitive community. Let's watch the video and address some of the points being made.
This is how you become the best player at Minecraft PvP in the whole world. First, you grind every day and sometimes even skip essential tasks like eating or getting enough exercise. During this time, you fight the best players you can find, you message good players to fight or play some known servers to practice. And when that's not enough, you throw it all away. You make your own tier list, you own the testing server, and force everyone to test on that server, and suddenly you're tier 1 in everything. Sound familiar? Well, this is the story of how Marlow deceived the entire Minecraft community as Minecraft's biggest closet cheater.
Before the tier list migrated, I had actually already obtained tier 1 in 5 out of the 7 game modes. This was already the most tier 1 rank that anyone achieved, and it was clear that my progress wasn't slowing down. In this crucial moment, Critical leaves this extremely relevant detail out and presents his hook as if I was a struggling player that couldn't rank up no matter how hard I tried to. While this in itself is deceptive, you might have also noticed that Critical is the one responsible for perpetrating the widespread lie that I'm the owner of PvP Club. The fact that all of this happens at the very start of the video probably already tells you what's in store for the rest of it.
Each kit is like a whole different game, with different mechanics, clicking styles, movement, and keybinds, which is why most top players specialize in a specific game mode instead of dominating everything at once. However, you might see some players who are high tier 1 at UHC be above high tier 2 in SMP as they have the same core skills. Regardless, progression is usually slow. Now that you understand that there are different kits, we need to talk about keybinds. In Minecraft, there are 9 slots that you need to be able to hotkey to in order to use your different items effectively. However, it's scientifically impossible to have perfect keybinds and clicking patterns for all the game modes. Here, take a look at what Crystal PvP gameplay looks like. Do you see how it involves left clicking with your sword, swapping to your obsidian and placing it, then going to your crystals and alternating your left and right clicks? Now compare this to UHC, where you have to swap between so many items while blocking your shield and all sorts of stuff. And for our player Marlow, she has to be able to do this for 8 kits simultaneously. That's right, Marlow is tier 1 skill at everything at the same time, which shouldn't be possible. Even Itrio Me, the next best player, still had lower tiers at low tier 2.
The next relevant claim that Critical makes is that it's scientifically impossible to have perfect keybinds for every game mode. Since there technically is no such thing as perfect keybinds, I'm going to address this claim under the assumption that Critical means a set of keybinds that function viably across every game mode. While I actually do happen to switch certain keybinds depending on the game mode I'm playing, this claim is seemingly baseless because other top players such as It's Real Me have used the same keybinds across every game mode and achieved massive success in the process. While I am the only player that has achieved tier 1 in every game mode, even hypothetically if I was hacking, that wouldn't automatically mean that this feat is impossible, and anyone who believes so would just be reducing their own potential.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong here, but I think a key distinction that Marlow left out here is that Critically wasn't just talking about the keybinds, and while I don't agree with his statement that it's scientifically impossible, my thought process behind it is that it is very improbable to come into the scene out of nowhere, rise to the rank 1 in all of these different categories. And again, his main point with this wasn't just the keybinds, it was the mastery of each specific game mode. The keybinds and the click timing and the awareness of everything that the game mode brings. So when you just zoom out and look at the entire graph, you understand this, you understand the insane rise, all of the evidence of using mods and then retroactively coming out and like, just releasing it and all of this weird stuff, but it continues. Now there's actually even more that Marlow goes into, even Ximity's personal history with the community and why he was blacklisted and all sort of stuff. But I now want to get to more of the community reaction to this video because it is very divided. Swite has responded with this post. He actually posted this just the other day, the day that this whole 3-hour video dropped. Before some stuff gets stirred up because Marlow is using double standards and doesn't provide any context. Yes, I was banned from the tier list back in 2021, 5 years ago, for cheating outside of a tier test blatantly, hence why I am unbanned today. They're starting to move some pressure onto me. I was going to stay silent during this, but now I can't. If you have any doubts about my legitimacy, I recommend you go watch my handcam video under the live tab of my channel, where I live streamed handcam and fought tier 1s and tier 2s on live. I don't want to stir up any drama, just trying to defend my name. I strongly encourage you all to form your own opinions. Hopefully I won't have to talk about this again, and I don't plan on it, but that was a low move that you used on several people. He would also follow up with, I'm thinking about accepting the offer to 1v1 Marlow IRL. What are some things you think should be put in place to ensure legitimacy, fairness, etc.? Bro, Swite and Marlow might 1v1 IRL. Let me know what you think of this whole situation. I was not expecting this response at all. I was shocked when it dropped. If you want to get filled in more on the entire situation, you can check out my videos on the subject right here.